Good morning. I am as surprised as you that yesterday's vlog is 2.5 minutes long. I distinctly remember recording more stuff. Hi. About a week ago, was it a week? I feel like it was kind of like a week. I lost my student ID, and it sounds important, but it only means that I would have to pay to get on the bus, because with your student ID, you just get on for free. It's great. You can go anywhere and you don't actually have to pay anything. And so for the last couple of days, I've kind of been trapped here, because I couldn't find my card. And I was just about to go and buy a new one from the college, because they don't just replace it for free like a nice place would. And I was about to walk out the door and go pay $20 for a new one, and Hazel found my card in the couch cushions. I'm so very happy. Yesterday was kind of weird. I am sorry these have been so short lately. Yesterday, I definitely remember shooting more stuff, but it's not there now, which is real uncomfortable feeling. But Jonah came over and we worked on the edit for the show, and he made it slower. Like, slower than I think it really needed to be, but we don't have any music right now, so it's real weird. It's real weird looking at an edit without music, because you don't know what it's really gonna feel like. But he has a guy. He's got a music guy. It's great. The reason these have been so short lately is because I've been like watching movies and sleeping, and doing a little bit of editing work and stuff, but like just trying to feel normal again, because for the last, I don't even know, but it was a long time, I felt really tired and gross. Tired and gross. And I just haven't been able to, I haven't been able to catch back up on sleep or something. And I don't know what to do about that. And I don't know how to fix that. And I don't know where it's coming from. So it's been really uncomfortable. I just felt so tired all the time. I made pancakes this morning though. So that's kind of fun. Talk about displacement a little bit, which is like the feeling of not belonging. I'm going to refer to some notes I made because I wrote down a long thing to try and get my thoughts all in order, so sorry if this is a little weird. From the time I was like 13 or 14, I haven't lived anywhere for longer than about 6 months. My mom got dissatisfied with the idea that she had to suffer through winter, and so she uprooted us and jammed us all inside of a little RV all over the place in America, but mostly in like Florida. Don't ever go to Florida. Anyway, this is also about the same time I started my blog, SaveTheCroissants.com, and it came to pass that the only place that I really felt at home, the only place that I felt stability, was on the internet. And because I'd had those 14 years or whatever of living in basically the same, four walls, I really yearned for that stability, and I created it online and in a very specific method of dress. But now, because 7 years is a huge chunk of your life, I kind of get nervous staying in one place for too long. My dad works on the North Slope. Read that as the North Pole, essentially, on an oil, for an oil company. And he hasn't lived in the same place because he travels for work, right? For 2 weeks at a time. He goes to work, he comes home for 2 weeks. He hasn't stayed in the same place for longer than 2 weeks since like the 1980s, or whenever he was hired there. His home is his backpack that he always carries with him. It has change of clothes and like rations, basically. But that I think is his home. And if you were to separate that from him and stick him in a new environment, he wouldn't be too lost, but he would definitely be out of place. And that's my goal, is to have my home inside of such a small thing that you could carry it with you everywhere. Right now, my home is essentially my little corner of the internet and this camera and a very specific style of dress that really lets me know I still exist and that I am myself. But even today, I feel like I'm gonna... Well, because I've stayed here so long and I've just collected so many things that, you know, I feel like I'm drowning in a pile of things that remind me that I am myself and that I exist and that I belong somewhere. But the place it feels like I'm gonna belong is at the bottom of a pile of clocks or whatever. Which brings me to our small house guest. For the first week that she was here, she wouldn't change her clothes. But the thing was that those clothes were the last thing she was wearing when she saw her mom. Our small house guest's home is just essentially her mom, right? And those clothes were her last remaining connection to her. And she's still going home, like she's not living here for the rest of her life, but for a 6-year-old to be this far away from home for 2 weeks, I think it's pretty hard on her. Oh yeah, and if everything goes to plan, I will live in this apartment for a whole year, which is longer than I have lived anywhere in the past 7 years. That makes me wish I was better at being a house person. Easy ways to think of things for dinner. Look in your fridge and say, what do I have? If the answer is nothing, you should have thought of this at lunch. Then get your food out in front of you and say, what can I make from this thing? And if the answer is something that you have a name for, make that. And if the answer is some meat and some other thing, then that's what you're eating for dinner.